Welcome back to One Fair Review. I'm your host, Grant Weston Chandler, looking at some of the most important anime of the decade. Today we're going to be looking at Wataten, An Angel Came Down to Me, which is just an excellent name for a show. I hope you guys do excuse me. I am getting over an illness right now, and I might sound a little bit sick, so if you hear the difference or change in my voice, it's because I'm getting over having a sore throat after a few weeks. But anyways, more importantly, we do have a show to discuss. So anyways, Wataten. The studio behind this was Dogo Kobo, which, if you guys remember Dogo Kobo, I actually mistakenly said hobo, or it sounded like I said hobo in one of my reviews a long time ago. But anyways, this studio is behind a lot of great shows, and Umaru-chan, but that's not the important part. The important thing is that the studio that made this show is actually the same studio that made Uzamaid from fall 2018 anime season. You guys might remember it, you might not. I did a review on it last year, and it's got some similarities to Wataten. In fact, it's very, very similar in the fact that it is a woman who is a lolicon. Purely coincidental, by the way. It's not that I actually searched these shows down. It's not my fault. It's just, it so happens to be one of the shows that I end up watching. Anyways, let's get back to Wataten. The story goes as follows. One day, a 5th grader by the name of Hoshino Hinata brings her friend Hana to her house. And Hinata's sister, Miyako, a college student, falls in love with Hana at first sight. Miyako manages to get along with Hana somehow, but her clumsy behavior and shyness make Hana wary of her. Even so, Hana gradually opens up to Miyako, who wants to become closer to her. It's a little bit of a spoiler in this description, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Starring such greats as Uda Reina as Hoshino Miyako. Welcome back, Uda Reina. You're a fantastic actress. Nagame Urika as Hoshino Hinata. Shashinde Maria as Shirozaki Hana. And finally, Kito Akari as Hinazaki Noa. Okay, so how do I talk about this show? Now, I've already told you guys the basic plot about it, and if you guys are wondering, is there anything deeper than that? No. The basic premise of the show is Miyako is this very, 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 very shy girl in college who is pretty pathetic. Quite the opposite of what the Uzamaid was. Here, the main character is pretty damn pathetic, does really nothing, stays at home, lays down a lot, sleeps in, doesn't like to wear good clothes, plays games, and likes to cosplay. So essentially my life in a nutshell, but that's besides the point. Anyways, Miyako does meet a girl by the name of Hana, which is one of her sister's friends, Hinata, and she develops an interest in her, or falls in love with her at first sight. Now, I don't know what it is. Like I said in the beginning, I don't look for these shows. I just end up finding them, and they end up being on my radar. I just saw a show that, I was like, hey, the animation looks cool. My microphone just fell. I just kind of looked at it. I was like, hey, the animation looks really nice. It's very warm colored animation, which I'll get to that in a bit. So I was like, hey, it looks cute. Why not watch it? And it ends up being an Uzamaid sequel, essentially. But taking that whole aspect out, I know that Uzamaid did have a little bit of controversy when it came to that. I haven't seen anybody complain about that in Wataten at all. I haven't seen anybody really make videos on it, and I don't really see it gaining any popularity, which I do find to be a bit of a shame, because I actually really like this show. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this show is amazing or it has a great story, but it is a very entertaining show. It's a bit of a comedy and a bit of a heartwarming show. So this is one of those feel-good experiences that I tend to really enjoy, and it's my taste when it comes to watching shows every season. I always want that show that makes me feel good, and this was one of those shows. I was always anticipating it every week it was going to come out, because it was an enjoyable show. The story's nothing special, like I said. In fact, I would go as far as to say the last episode is pretty bad, and half of it has nothing to do with the show at all, and then the other half of it just kind of ends the way an anime without an ending would end, if that makes sense, where it's like, oh, it just stops. It doesn't end. There's no ending. It just stops. So I would say the last episode is very, very disappointing in a lot of ways. It turns into kind of a musical, which is fine, I guess, but I'm not a big fan of it. But everything that came before that was a solid comedy for a good majority of the ride. And honestly, the show actually has one of the cutest girls in it I've seen in an anime recently. Hinata, which is Miyako's little sister, is absolutely adorable in this show, and maybe that's just appealing to me because I love kids and I love anime, so that's a good mix. But she's just really, really cute and really sweet in the show, and it's just, I always wanted her to be one of the main focuses, but unfortunately she's not the main focus. Unfortunately, Hannah is actually the main focus, and while I won't say she's not cute, she is. She has some cute elements about her. The fact that she loves sweets is kind of, okay, it's kind of cute, it's a little kid, but she's not as cute as, say, Hinata or Noah, which is the blonde girl with the little cat mouth. Like, both of them I found were cuter than Hana, so I don't know why Hana was the one that Miyako falls in love with. I get it, that's part of the story, but you get my point. Now, the characters are all very likable, very fun, enjoyable. Just like in Uzamaid, Miyako ends up having a stalker of her own. I don't know why these shows are very similar. I'd have to do more research on who made it, but that just ended up being the case. Other than that, I really can't tell you much about the story. The story is not engaging per se, but it is an enjoyable one that's entertaining, very comedic at times, and I would say I very much enjoyed it. As far as the presentation has to go, the animation is really nice. It's very warm color, very, very colorful in general, very watercolor at times. It's a beautiful looking show. The designs of the characters are all very cute, and I really did enjoy that aspect of it. The animation is very, I'm not going to say fluid, but it does flow very well, and it's just well done. It's not a masterpiece like Uzamaid, but hey, what can you do? But it's passable. It's not something that I'm going to write home about, like, yeah, this was the best animation I saw, but it was very nice, and it was very comforting. It's one of those shows that is very comforting to watch and very pleasant to look at, and very good for the eyes. It's eye candy, essentially. As far as the soundtrack goes, I can't say the soundtrack was particularly good. It was forgettable at best. Besides the main theme and then the ending theme, none of the tracks were particularly memorable or engaging. But yeah, that's my sort of general thoughts on that. I wish the soundtrack was a little bit better. But other than that, I guess it did have a really catchy intro, and then it had a nice outro. But soundtrack, I would say below average for my standards, at least. And the animation, good quality when it came to the type of show we're talking about. Very warm color, watercolor type show, easy on the eyes, something that will grab your attention. Overall, there's really not much I can say about Wataten other than I really enjoyed the show. It was funny and it was cute, and I think Hinata actually made the show for me. She's an adorable character. I really liked her a lot. And the main character, Miyako, who was played by Uda Reina, she is a fantastic voice actress. I've heard her in a few other shows, and she always does a great job. I find it funny how she's playing someone so pathetic as Miyako in this show, but that's just how life goes. In a funny way, I found this show very relatable, not to myself, because I've never been a shy person, but I did know somebody, a girl who was almost exactly like Miyako, who didn't leave the house. She was homeschool, didn't leave the house, and just kind of was a weird person, very shy. In fact, I remember I took her to a Starbucks, a coffee shop, and she couldn't order, and the guy was like asking her, "What do you want?" and she was saying it really, really quiet. She couldn't talk to this man, so I had to answer, and I was frustrated, and I just felt so embarrassed because I looked like a woman beater at that point, and I could only imagine what people thought of me. But my point is that the show is very relatable in that I knew that I when I was watching, I was like, I've experienced this type of person before. I know how annoying it can be, and yeah, it's relatable in that way. It is a slice of life type of show. Now getting back to let's finalize my thoughts on it. Overall, I would say the show is entertaining. It's not great. It ends poorly, but it is entertaining. It is a fun ride. It has some good comedic moments, some great comedic moments, and it has a heartwarming story with very cute characters. Now, I can't rate it that high because, again, the story it goes nowhere. It really does go nowhere, and there's really nothing more to it than what I've explained. Like I said, I can't really talk much about it. That's really all I have to say. The animation was good. I actually enjoyed the animation quite a bit. Soundtrack, pretty lame. So I would say my final verdict would be a 7 out of 10. I wish I could give this show a 9 out of 10 because that's how much I enjoyed watching it. It was a 9 out of 10 for pure enjoyment. But in reality, the show does not deserve that 9 out of 10. It's a good show, but not one that will be remembered very fondly, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would recommend this show if you guys are at all interested. I mean, it depends what type of show you're looking for, but if you are looking for a slice of life, feel-good, cutesy show with little girls, then this is the show for you. If you're looking for something else, then completely pass. You're not going to get anything from this. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I've been sick for the past 2 weeks. I got better about a week ago, a week from when this episode is uploaded on YouTube, but I still didn't feel like recording because my throat was still sore, and you could probably tell in my voice now, it still is not the best. So I want to thank you guys for who continued to watch it and for your kind words that you guys gave. Thank you so much to everybody who wished me to get better soon, and I really do appreciate the support you guys have given. That being said, I'm Grant for One for a Review. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have you seen the show? Have you not? Write down in the comments down below what you thought about it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time on One for a Review. As always, have a nice day.